material nature. यमादिभिः योगपथे अभ्यासेन स्वथवा अन्वितः मयि भावेन सत्येन मत्कथाश्रवणेन च यमादिभिः योगपथे अभ्यासेन स्वथवान्वितः मयि भावेन सत्येन मत्कथाश्रवणेन च Yama Adibihi, beginning with Yama, Yoga Pathehi, by the yoga system, Abhyashan, practicing, Sradhaya Anvitaha, with great faith, Mai, unto me, Bhabena, with devotion, Satyena, unalloyed, Matkatha, stories about me, Sravanena, by hearing, Cha, and Translation and purpose by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. One has to become faithful by practicing the controlling process of the yoga system and must elevate himself to the platform of unalloyed devotional service by chanting and hearing about me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yoga is practiced in 8 different stages: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Yama and Niyama mean practicing the controlling process by following strict regulations, and Asana refers to the sitting postures. These help raise one to the standard of faithfulness in devotional service. The practice of yoga by physical exercise is not the ultimate goal. The real end is to concentrate and to control the mind and train oneself to be situated in faithful devotional service. Bhavena or bhava is a very important factor in the practice of yoga or in any spiritual process. Bhava is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Buddha Bhava Shamanvitaha. One should be absorbed in the thought of love of Krishna. When one knows that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of everything and that everything emanates from Him, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha, then one understands the Vedanta aphorism, Janmadi Asya Yataha, the original source of everything, and then he can become absorbed in bhava, or the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. Rupa Goswami explains very nicely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu how this bhava, or preliminary stage of love of God, is achieved. He states that one first of all has to become faithful, Shraddhavan Anvitaha. Faith is attained by controlling the senses, either by yoga practice, following the rules and regulations, and practicing the sitting postures, or by engaging directly in bhakti yoga, as recommended in the previous verse. Of the 9 different items of bhakti yoga, the first and foremost is to chant and hear about the Lord. That is also mentioned here. Mat katha sravaninnucha. One may come to the standard of faithfulness by following the rules and regulations of the yoga system. And the same goal can be achieved by chanting and hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord. The word cha is significant. Bhakti yoga is direct and the other process is indirect. But even if the indirect process is taken, there is no success unless one comes fully to the direct process of hearing and chanting the glories of Lord. Therefore, the word Satyena is used here. In this connection, Swami Sridhar comments that Satyena means Niskapatena, without duplicity. The impersonalists are full of duplicity. Sometimes they pretend to execute devotional service, but their ultimate idea is to become one with Supreme. This is duplicity, kapata. The Bhagavatam does not allow this duplicity. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated, Parama Nimrata Saranam. This treatise Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are completely free from envy. The same point is again stressed here. Unless one is completely faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages himself in the process of hearing and chanting the glories of Lord, there is no possibility for liberation. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं रघुनाथपितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. These days we are discussing about Mother Devotis and her son Kapila Muni. Says Kapila's discussion. Mother Devotee asked about the material nature. So Kapila Muni very nicely, very eloquently explaining his mother about material nature, how the entanglement works. He talks about Jiva. Before that, in the 26th chapter, we discussed about how the conditioned soul is formed, then how material nature and what is the role of Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these things we're discussing here. And now we're going more deep into this material nature. And here, Kapila Muni, last 4 or 5 verses, we saw that how Kapila Muni is discussing that how material nature and its modes affect a conditioned soul. How he's explaining again how the conditioned souls gets, like deeply get into this Maya or illusion and thinks that he is the doer. Basically, the proprietorship comes into picture. So now he's telling, like how basically we should come out of it and how we should get closer to the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is a very beautiful subject matter, and Srila Prabhupada has very nicely, in a very simple manner, he has explained this. So my knowledge on this Srimad Bhagavatam and specifically this topic is pretty limited, but with all of your association and guidance and the blessings of Guru and Gauranga, would like to glorify this particular verse. So with my limited knowledge, so I need your blessing to start with. This is totally for my purification. So here in this verse, there are basically talks about how to attain bhava. If we see here, Prabhupada here focus on actual bhava. Like he says that bhava is very important factor in the practice of yoga or in any spiritual process. So in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita also multiple times we have Srila Prabhupada's talk has, like he has discussed about this bhava. So next, so here we are going, Prabhupada is in the purport, he's basically describing how to attain this bhava. So bhava basically, four things he has mentioned here. The first thing he says that we have to practice to control our senses. Then he says about that faith is very important. In any process we do, any devotional process, faith is important. Faith basically is the first, basically he says, faith is the first pillar stone. Then Prabhupada takes into that how to do unalloyed devotional service and why it is important. Then he says that how to do this unalloyed devotional service. And after attaining faith and then how to do that, then we have to do Sravanam and Kirtanam, chanting and hearing about Krishna. After that, what will happen? That we are going to basically, we will get attend to the stage of Bhava, which is basically the preliminary stage of attaining love of Godhead. Before attaining the pure love of Godhead, the next before stage is the Bhava stage. So with this understanding, let's go deep into this. The first one is Prabhupada says here, the first thing in the verse he says, Yama Adivir Yoga Pather, Abhyashan Sradhavanita. He says talks about Yoma Adivir Yoga Pather. So basically, Prabhupada here talks about how to control our senses, how a devotee who is aspiring to follow the path of Krishna consciousness, how or Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, what he should do to come closer to Krishna. Prabhupada is saying that first thing is controlling senses. How to control senses? in the Purport Prabhupada explains the eightfold system. The eightfold system basically in our scriptures, it refers to the Ashtanga Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita also we discussed about this Ashtanga Yoga, how to do this. In detail, actually, we have discussed about it. So basically, this Prabhupada says here, this yoga system method is gradually raises one's consciousness to a higher level of awareness, which culminates into samadhi. So what are the 8 stages? The 8 stages are yama, niyama, then asana, then pranayam, then pratyahara, then dharana, then dhyana, then samadhi. These are the stages. Yama means what? Yama means don't do this. There are so many restrictions. Like don't smoke, don't eat meat, don't sleep a lot. Then niyama. Niyama means do's. Like get up early in the morning. Then you do eat healthy food. Do some exercises. These are kind of niyamas. Some restrictions will apply and something we have to follow. These are jama and niyama. Yama and niyama. Then is asana. Asana basically anything we do, right? How to sit. Like if a student going to school, basically the teacher tells him to sit on a bench or sit straight. Similarly, also for this controlling senses, so there is a asana to sit. The yogis sit in a kusagrass mat or any kind of skin mat. They sit down and there is a particular posture on which they do the exercises. Then the pranayam. Pranayam basically is the breathing exercise. So we see in the internet there are so many pranayams exercises are going on. So many the yoga gurus are telling, do this, like this, you do the breathing exercises. Then the pratyahara. Pratyahara basically is the withdrawing senses. Basically, pratyahara means, suppose somebody is liking to eat something nicely, so nice rasgullas, basically, he won't eat it. Forcibly, basically, they try to remove the sense from the sense objects. Then next one is a dharana. Once the pratyahara goes, right, dharana means all sensual engagement stopped. Basically, this is by this strict disciplinary actions. Then next one is the dhyana. Dhyana basically we meditate on that there is a soul, there is a super soul, and then there is a connection between them. Then after that, the final stage is the samadhi. Samadhi basically is ready to leave. So the 8 stages, whatever we see that this is basically a pretty elaborate process, and sometimes it take 100,000 years just to practice, just to go to that stage. And that too also finding a secluded place to do asana also is very challenging. So these days what we see that this focus of this yoga is totally to stay physically fit so that they can enjoy, they can stay some extra years in this planet. How beautiful they look, they go like in the park, we see that a lot of devotees, they come and a lot of people, they come and the main topic is how to do yoga, how to stay fit. But the main purpose of yoga, our Acharya says, is to concentrate on how to control our sense and advancement in spiritual realization. So about this yoga, like how to like what exactly the yoga is expected, we can see from this picture. Yoga basically is what? Yoga basically is to connect one's consciousness or soul to connect with the Supreme Personal Godhead. So basically, our mind and our consciousness should be fully Krishnized. That should be the goal of the yoga. We see here in the full entire month we're discussing about Ramayana, different pastimes. We see that how Ravan was a very strict discipline he was following, and he was standing in the middle picture. If you see that he was standing in 1 feet and doing so many yoga practices, he did not eat for a long time. And you see how he was withdrawing his senses and standing in a posture, following some asana in a secluded place. So many things he did, so many austerities he did. He did thousands of years of tapasya meditation to Lord Brahma. But what was it? It was not basically, after doing so many years of tapasya meditation or yogic practice, his mind also was not pure. His goal was how to defeat Krishna. He did not have anahela devotion. So he was at a point of time, he was so much focused into getting into the siddhi that he basically literally he cut his head and he was offering to Lord Shiva. He was that much work he has done. But in his heart and mind, it was not pure. So that's why at the end, what we see, entire Ravana dynasty and the Lanka was basically, it was annihilated. Basically, Lord Ram came and he killed Ravana because he was in the part of the adharma. After doing so many sadhanas, so many austerities, his mind was not pure. So our Acharya says that whatever this Ashtanga yoga or eightfold exercise, whatever we're doing, our mind should get more purified so that we will come to that level of chitta suddhi. After our heart and basically mind consciousness is pure, then only we can get this little bit bhava or the prema of Lord, we will get it. But in here, the last picture we see here, that Bibhishana, basically Bibhishana, what he basically he's from the army side, from the enemy side, of Sri Ram. But he has come, he has surrendered. He is telling that Ram, you are my, I am coming to surrender to you. I'm surrendering at a lotus feet. I have full devotion to him. We have witnessed in Bibhishana pastime that how Bibhishana was surrendered to Ram. Even staying in Lanka along with so many Rakshasas, he was also practicing about, like uttering Lord Ram's name, having a tulsi plant in the house. So at the end, what we see, Lord Ram protected him. Lord Ram gave him, like abhaya. He gave him protection. Then he told him that yes, I'm going to rescue you, I'm going to protect you, and I am going to make you the king of Lanka. So when after the Rama and Ravana war in the at the end of the when the Ramayana was ending, at the end of this Yuddhakanda, we see that Rama coronated Vibhishana as the king of Lanka. So till today, it's one of the great devotees of Lord Ram, Vibhishana's name is taken. So we saw here that as the discussion was going on in this purport, that what is the real goal of this Ashtanga Yoga or the yogic process? That is to get the unalloyed devotion towards Sri Hari. So then the next one is the bhava. So bhava, basically we can talk about what basically bhava means. Bhava basically is the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. So this is basically our Acharya said that this is basically bhava can be defined as a gradually emotion for God to intensify to the point of spiritual ecstasy. So our Srila Rupa Goswami, so in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he talks about there are 9 stages of basically this bhakti. So bhakti, if you see that there is a ladder, so and how to go to the topmost stage of bhakti, which is prema, there are 9 stages are there. So our Rupa Goswami says that Ado Sadhu Shraddha, that verse he says about it, that first thing is Ado Shraddha. Ado Shraddha means what? The first stage basically is Shraddha. We should have minor faith. Very minimal faith is faith is basically required. That yes, Krishna is there, Krishna is going to protect me, Krishna is all around. That Shraddha should be there, that faith should be there. Then with that faith, basically what we do sadhu sangha. We associate with saints. Then we do bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya, basically we do devotional practices. Then by this what happens? Anartha nivritti happens. Whatever the contamination, whatever the anarthas are there, they slowly goes away. Our attachment towards, like filthy material objects, that slowly also goes away. Then what happens? We become steady. Steady means our nishtha, basically it increases. Then what happens when the nishtha increases? Then our ruchi develops, the taste develops. So we said initially when we were coming to Krishna consciousness, then what will happen? We had somewhere this minor faith, it was there in our mind. That faith was very important. So with that, we started coming to temple. We started honoring prasadam. We mixed with devotees. Then what happened? We mixed with them. Then we started chanting Harinam. We attended Sunday evening kirtan. Then slowly, what happened? We were introduced to Bhakti Brukya. Then by listening to Maharaj, Senior Maharaj and association and honoring Prasadam and attending Sunday feast, Bhakti Brukyas, slowly our unwanted attachment was reduced. Like on Fridays, we used to go to this place, that place, restaurant, movies, those things slowly reduced. Early morning now we are getting up. Instead of sleeping extra, we're getting up and taking association of devotees, listening about Harikatha. Now, last entire month, we discussed about Lord Ram in the evening, entire month. I saw some of the Matajis and Prabhutis, the entire Ram Katha they have listened. So by doing this, what happens? Slowly, the anathas goes away. Then what happens? The nishtha develops. Nishtha means what happens? That you become steady. Sometimes, some Sundays we come and some Sundays we don't come. Slowly, what happens? That every Sunday we try to attend. We become steady. Then ruchi develops. Ruchi means we wait on Saturday. That when Sunday will come, I'm going to do this. I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to see this beautiful darshan of Radha Samsundar. So this ruchi, and then asakti develops. Asakti means attachment. We feel that we are part of it. That asakti develops. After this asakti, this bhava develops. Bhava basically is the preliminary stage of love. This is Bhava develops. After the Bhava develops, what happens? The pure love of God, and that basically that arises within devotees' heart. So we see this here, this beautiful picture of our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embracing a South Indian Brahmin. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in his South India trip, basically he was going to Srirangam, and in Srirangam he came and he saw there is a Brahmin who is reading Bhagavad Gita, and the people are looking at him and laughing. So Mahaprabhu was curious to understand why these people are laughing at the Brahmin who is reading Bhagavad Gita. He saw that the Brahmin is reading Bhagavad Gita and laughing in ecstasy, and he's crying. He saw that, and then he realized. He asked him that, Sadhu, what are you doing, and why these people are laughing at you? You are reading Bhagavad Gita. Then the Brahmana responded that I'm an illiterate. I don't know how to read, but my Guru Maharaj has told me to read it, and that's why I'm reading. No, I don't. That's why since I'm no I'm that's why I'm reading. Though I cannot read, and but I'm reading. I'm not understanding anything, but I'm trying to read. I'm making a show of reading. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, that's all right. Your Guru has told, that's why you are reading. But then why are you crying? If you're not able to read, then what is making you cry? Then the South Indian Brahmana replied to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whenever I'm opening the book, I'm seeing the cover page. In cover page, I see that Lord Krishna is sitting in the chariot and Arjuna is sitting behind. So basically, Krishna is my Lord. He is the Lord of the universe, and it's the Arjuna basically he should be servant. But here, Krishna is taking the role of a charioteer, and basically he is helping. He is basically doing a menial servant role of Arjuna. And Arjuna has told him to take the chariot in the center, and Krishna is just following the order. How my Lord Krishna, he is able to do it, and he is protecting Arjuna. When I'm trying to understand this, looking at this picture, now automatically a tear is coming from my eyes. I'm getting very excited that my Lord can do anything. I'm thinking like that, and he is everywhere. He is going to definitely protect. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that is basically the essence of understanding scripture. Who told you that you are not understanding Bhagavad Gita? You have understood it to 100%. Essence of Bhagavad reading all the scripture is Krishna is always there to protect us. The next thing we can understand, what is the difference between a bhava and prema? We see that bhava also is love. Prema also we say that this is a pure love of God. So bhava basically is the initial phase of love. So when we are getting into the ladder of bhakti, the initial stage is that bhava. So Prabhupada often he explains by giving an example of a mango. So mango, when it is there in the tree, right, it is becoming a green mango. Green mango also is good. It has a different taste. Then there is a yellow ripened mango. So in the tree, when we go, we see a green mango and yellow mango is there. So this bhabo is just like a green mango. When the green mango basically ripens, it becomes yellow. It becomes more juicy, more nectarian. Similarly, bhabo, when it matures more and more, with more association, more nectar of Harikatha, more detachment, it turns into a prema. So that prema is basically here. This is basically sometimes it is spontaneous prema. There is no alloyed over there, nothing mixed over there. There is no tinge of karma, no tinge of no jnana is mixed over there. That is the pure love of God. What the gopis were feeling for Lord Krishna. So entire discussion goes on here on how to get that bhava. So here we see that regarding this faith, what should be the faith? The faith should be here that Krishna is saying here here that Buddha Bhava Samanitaha in Bhagavad Gita in the Chatushloki. There are two verses are referred here. That is the 10.8. That Aham Sarvasya Prabhu means I am the source of all spiritual and material words, and everything emanates from me. The wise people who knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So the person who understands that, yes, Krishna is the source of everything, basically that intelligent person, he understands and he has faith. That is that then actually in that bhava basically he does all the devotional service. So the first verse also of Srimad Bhagavatam also is referred here. The Janmadya Shayato, that verse also referred here. In that verse also it is described basically Krishna is the original source of everything. So with its understanding, if one does devotional service, so what does he is basically he goes in the ladder, and finally he attains the bhava and the prema. So faith is the first stage of devotional service. And we already know that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvadharma parityajya mamekam saranam braja. So by surrendering to Krishna, what happens? Everything is done very nicely. Then what is this Shraddha? This Shraddha basically in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Shraddha sabde Vishwasa kahe Sudra Nischaya Krishna Bhakti kaile Sarva Karma Krita hai. Basically, Shraddha is confident firm path that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all activities sought favorable to the discharge of devotional service. The next thing is how to attain that faith. So in the purport towards the last part, Prabhupada says that faith can be attained by controlling senses. So we saw earlier by controlling senses how we are attaining faith. That is basically by the yoga practice, following the rules and regulations and practicing the 16 postures. The next one is by engaging directly in the bhakti yoga, by doing Shravanam and Kirtanam. We see the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Then the second verse of Bhagavatam also is referred here. That Dharma Prajita Kaitava Atra Parama Nirmata Saranam Satam. Here it says that completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. Here Prabhupada talks about Satyena. Satyena means there should not be any adulteration will be there. Sometimes we see that there are materialist people are there. Then there are impersonalists are there. They also have desire. They also do sadhana. They also follow different path. They also follow. We see in the example of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, what he did? Dhruva Maharaj basically he did so much austerities. What was the desire? His desire was basically to get a more to acquire more wealth or a better kingdom than his great grandfather Brahmaji. So he did so much austerities, so many pranam he raised, and he was in Bhagavatam it is described that he was standing in 1 feet, and then he was fast. Actually, he was eating the fruits from the forest. And slowly he also reduced that. He reduced it food, and slowly later on, basically he was inhaling and he was staying like that. Then slowly he reduced that also. He was inhaling there only after 12th day. So finally, what happened? Supreme Personality of Godhead, he appeared in front of him. When Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in front of him, and Dhruva was supposed to get all this wealth, Dhruva felt in his mind that yes, I requested so many things, and so much desire was within me, and he felt ashamed that I wanted some unwanted particles of broken glass, but instead, what I'm getting a real diamond, the son of Sri Hari. So then he realized that true unalloyed devotion at the lotus feet of Hari is the real essence. So sometimes Mayavadis they try to merge in supreme merge in the effulgence. So what to do? Why they want to do? Basically, they want to get out of this Janma Mrityu entanglement, but they don't get that that they don't attain that bhava. Real bhava is like in this material world, I would serve Krishna, and wherever I am there, I am going to serve Krishna. Without serving Krishna, we want basically get to the final stage of prema. So here we discussed as Srila Prabhupada is going to take us in the purport to us how to practice or to control our senses, then how to develop this little faith by this unhallowed devotional service and by chanting and hearing about Krishna. So with this, I would like to end today's discussion. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Mataji. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the prayers to the Supreme Lord. May these prayers go to our dear Sarva Sundar Prabhu for his medical treatments. So let's chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Nrsingo, Jai Nrsingo, Jai Jai Nrsingo, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringam, Ugravira
Mahavishnu, Jalantam Sarato Mukham,
नरसिंहम विष्णु
विष्णु
भद्रम
भद्रं यज्ञ
नमामि
नमामि
हम। नरसिंह भगवान की जय,
की
प्रहलाद
जय
महाराज की जय।
जय।
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas.
वंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
Kripa Sindhu
कृपा सिन्धु भवेच
Patitanam
पतितानां
Pavanebhyo
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Vaishnavrinda ki jai,
की जय
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
जय
ki jai,
जय।
Gaur Premanande Hari
हरि
Krishna.
हरि हरि बोल।
Thank you, Prem Sir और Mataji.
Thank you everybody. हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you.